In the world of timekeeping, one name is well known around all the sports luxury watches: Tag Heuer, where precision meets passion and tradition meets technology. Every Tag Heuer timepiece is a masterpiece, born from the hands of master craftsmen who merge artistry with engineering. Let's analyze the story of this amazing brand. But before starting the video, I recommend you to subscribe, since the majority of the people who watch this channel isn't subscribed. Thanks a lot, it will be very helpful for me and for the channel growth. The company was born in 1860, founded by Edward Heuer in Switzerland. The name of the company was initially only Heuer, but in 1985, Tag Group bought a majority stake in the company, forming Tag Heuer. As we said before, in 1860, Edward Heuer founded Heuer Manufaktur Heuer in Switzerland. Heuer patented his first chronograph in 1882, and in 1887 patented an oscillating pinion still used by major watchmakers of mechanical chronographs. In 1911, Heuer received a patent for the time of trip, the first dashboard chronograph. It was designed to be used during trips for automobiles and aircraft. In 1914, the first Heuer chronograph was officially launched, while in 1916, Edward's son, Charles Auguste, introduced the micrograph, the first stopwatch accurate to 1/100th of a second. This model was followed by the semi-chronograph, a stopwatch that offered 1/50th of a second timing, as well as a split-second function. In 1933, Heuer introduced Autavia, a dashboard timer used for automobiles and aviation. The companion, however, was a clock that could run for 8 days without being wound. Over the period from 1935 through the early 40s, Heuer manufactured chronographs for pilots in Luftwaffe, known as Flieger chronographs. In the early 50s, Heuer produced watches for the American retailer Abercrombie & Fitch, like the Cipher and the Autograph. In 1958, Heuer introduced a new line of dashboard timepieces, which included the Master Time, an 8-day clock, the Monte Carlo, a 12-hour stopwatch, the Super Autavia, which was a full chronograph, the Sebring, a 60-minute split-second timer, and the Auto Rally, 6-minute stopwatch. Heuer also introduced timing devices for ski and motor racing events, including Formula 1. From the 1950s to the 1970s, Heuers were popular watches among automobile racers. Heuer produced special chronographs versions with the logo of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, as well as the names or logos of racing teams or sponsors. And in 1962, Heuer became the first Swiss watchmaker in space. John Glenn wore a Heuer stopwatch when he piloted the Mercury Atlas 6 spacecraft on the first US crewed space flight to orbit the Earth. The Autavia chronograph was introduced in 1962. In 1963, Heuer introduced the Carrera chronograph, designed by Jack Heuer, great-grandson of Edward. The Carrera had a very simple design, with only the registers and applied markers on the dial, while a 3-register triple calendar version of the Carrera was introduced around 1968. Most of Heuer chronographs from this period used movements manufactured by Valjoux, including the Valjoux 72 movement and the Valjoux 92 movement. In the mid-1960s, Heuer partnered with Breitling and Hamilton to introduce an automatic chronograph. These projects were conducted in secret, as none of the competitors wanted the other companies to be aware of their efforts. Heuer, Breitling and Hamilton held press conferences in Geneva and New York on 3rd of March 1969 to show their new lines of chronographs. Heuer's first automatic chronographs were the Autavia, the Carrera and Monaco. These models were powered by calibers 11, 12, 14 and 15 movements. In the early 1970s, Heuer expanded its line of automatic chronographs to include the Daytona, the Montreal, the Silverstone, the Calculator, the Monza and the Jarama models, all powered by the caliber 11 movements. In 1975, Heuer introduced the Chronosplit, a digital chronograph with dual LED and LCD displays. Tag Heuer formed in 1985, when Tag Technics d'Avant-Garde, manufacturers of high-tech items such as ceramic turbochargers for Formula 1 cars, and British businessman Ron Dennis acquired Heuer. In 1999, Tag Heuer accepted a bid from Louis Vuitton SA of $1.15 billion contingent upon a transfer of 50.1% of stock. In 2010, Tag Heuer introduced the pendulum concept, the first magnetic oscillator without hairspring capable of providing restoring torque comparable to that of hairspring. A little curiosity about this brand is that they have a slogan which is "Don't crack under pressure", which is obviously referred to their watches. At the moment, Tag Heuer lines include Formula 1, Aqua Racer, Link, Carrera, Monaco, Connected, Autavia and Heuer Heritage. Moving away from watches, Tag Heuer sells eyewear under a license acquired in 2002 and mobile phones under license. The company is always a men's accessories maker with lines of wallets, belts, jackets, bracelets and a lot more. In the past, Tag Heuer has been the official timekeeper of the 3 Summer Olympic Games during 1920s, the Skiing World Champions and the Formula 1 World Championship. The brand is also the official timekeeper and sponsor of different football championships such as Serie A, La Liga, Bundesliga and a lot more. Also, Tag Heuer was included as official sponsor and timekeeper in the Gran Turismo video game from 2017 to 2020. As we already said in this video, Tag Heuer is very well connected to the world of motorsport and racing. In fact, Tag Heuer is one of the main sponsors of Red Bull Racing Team in Formula 1. It has been also the main sponsor for Williams back in the 80s. Tag Heuer CEO Jean-Claude Biver had an idea to enter in 2 markets that may not necessarily be traditional markets for the company, an idea Biver calls universes, which include sport, heritage, lifestyle, art and music. Other brand ambassadors in the Universities program include David Guetta, One Republic, Martin Garrix, Chris Hemsworth, Manchester United FC and Muhammad Ali. From offices to racetracks, from city streets to rugged terrains, Tag Heuer watches are more than accessories. They are expressions of your individuality, your passions and your drive. Would you buy one of their timepieces? Let me know in the comments below. See ya in the next one.